Yeah, wisdom. One of my favorite words. And right now, I want to welcome y'all to the Brother Mark Scott Show. This is a special treat. This is actually a live stream, and I am not by myself. We're going to have a conversation about wisdom this evening, and I have the privilege of having three brothers that are going to be joining me. And without further ado, I want to bring these brothers onto the screen, and I will give them each an opportunity to introduce themselves. So, starting up at the upper right hand corner, you see Brother JC. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, sir?
What's going on, Brother Mark Scott? What's going on, Dre? What's going on, Troy? Listen, I'm JC, man. I have aspirations to do what my dear brother's doing, to have a YouTube channel and get conversation out and do different things. But aside from that, I'm a insurance agent. You know, that's what I do for a living. I love having various conversations, talking about various issues as it relates to people and so on and so forth. But in particular, issues as it relates to relationships, because we're in a maze. My dear brother Mark Scott's writing a book on the dating game. So I think that I could add some value to that. So I'm happy to be here to have this conversation and see where it goes. So let's see where it goes.
All right, appreciate you, Brother Andre. If you can you introduce yourself to the people real quick?
All right, my name is Andre Parham. Currently 20 plus years retired from the military. Was in with my battle buddy over there, JC, for a while. Now I work in the government, federal government, and been enjoying the last, 15 or so years of my retirement with the family. And I'm glad to be here, man. Glad to be able to join in on the conversation, and I look forward to it.
Definitely glad to have you. And Brother Troy, if you could, let the world know who you are, sir.
Yeah, I'm Troy Hamilton. Top of the evening to you, gentlemen. Currently, I'm an owner, operator, truck driver. Been in the business probably 30 plus years. Single man. Have two daughters, educated, and I'm just joining in for good topic and good conversation.
Awesome, man. Well, definitely glad to have you. And again, fellas, we talked a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about how to communicate with wisdom. And I'm glad I've got some brothers that we share some common background, but we also have a difference in backgrounds. We have different ages and experiences. So I've got a couple brothers that are actually brothers, a couple brothers that are battle brothers, and these are all my brothers. So I'm glad to have y'all. Thank y'all. About this conversation tonight and how to communicate with wisdom. And initially I was going to say how to communicate with women, because I've got men on here. But one of the reasons why I'm having this conversation is this past weekend, while doing research on the book, I was going over some Miles Monroe teachings, and he was talking about specifically how husbands communicate with wives and the difference in how men and women process our communication. And basically he says, look, when we hear words, we take it in as information. We experience it in a very logical way. If somebody calls us stupid or ugly or fat, we take it in, we analyze it. Does it make sense? Is it true or not? And we can usually reject words pretty quickly, pretty simply. But when women hear words, their first level of processing what they hear is to experience it emotionally. So it's not as important of what you say to a woman, but how you say it. And I want to kind of talk about our experiences throughout life and what we've seen in those experiences. Does this resonate with you brothers at all in how you communicate or talk with the women that you deal with in your life?
Who's up first?
I'll step in right quick. Just to bag up and let you know, I've been married now 33 years. I dated my wife less than 6 months. We met when we was in Germany. She was in the military as well as I was. And what I learned as a man, and I said this to my daughter as well, when a man is interested in you and want to take things further, they don't date a long time. It doesn't take a long time for them to say, let's move forward to the next level.
Right.
And so I would say the communication part between me and my wife has been great. It really has, because in order for us to stay married as long as we have, we had to have a lot of open dialogue on a lot of different issues and subjects. And I found, speaking to her particularly, I realized that as long as I'm open with what my thoughts are, we can actually grow and move forward together. And I think that's the biggest issue, I would say, with any relationship with a woman, is revealing what your thoughts are, because the woman can't read your thoughts as well as you can't read hers. And so I think as long as we can be open and honest in our communication, there isn't too much of an issue. The issue comes down to when you're trying to hide something.
Yeah.
Or you know, or you're not being straightforward with how you feel and how you see things.
Well, you know, Brother Andre, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the points that I always get back from women is a lot of guys run game. And this was one of the things that I tell. Conversation rules the nation was an old saying my dad used to say all the time. And if you understand how to make a woman feel a certain way, you can pretty much tell her anything you want to. And a lot of women be like, look, these guys pretend that they want relationship. They pretend that they want to be serious, but once I give them some, then all of a sudden they done changed up. How do I avoid that happening to me? And when you talked about that, what would you tell one of your daughters if she was trying to navigate that kind of situation?
Well, once again, you can't go into the relationship thinking somebody can read your mind. You definitely got to be open, and you got to let a person know exactly how you feel. Even with some of the things that you talk about, let them know exactly whether you agree or disagree with it. Therefore, it wouldn't be shady in the beginning. Because that's the biggest point. Being open up with your thoughts. And if you're not open up with your thoughts, and as time go on in your relationship, you know, even with my daughter, I let her know, ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
Look into that person's eyes and make sure that you're getting the right feedback, but ask the tough questions. Be ready to also answer questions, you know.
Brother Troy,
Yes, sir.
You mentioned being a single man, so I imagine you've had some interactions with women, and communication has played a very significant role in it, and you've got your own point of view on it, man. What's your take on how you communicate with women and how they feel about
it? My experience, my take is that, I mean, you know, it is just like the saying, man, women and men just see things different. It's like Andre said, you have to just be straight up honest with the type of person you are. And you have to basically deal with women in the dating game that kind of can at least, well, not at least, but have to accept you for who you are. It probably ain't no woman in this world I haven't dated twice, to be honest with you. So I find confidence in what statement. Yeah. I find confidence with Andre say that, man, you just have to be who you are and find somebody that's not trying to change you. You know, just accept you for who you are and just be truthful going into things straight up for. Because what I've learned, man, you learn a lot from women if you just be quiet and just let them talk. Woman will tell you everything you need to know. I promise you that. And it's like, say, tapping into that emotional side. Once you're able to get her to feel comfortable with you, and you tap into that emotional side, then she'll go even deeper. So a lot of times, man, I find myself not wasting time dating a lot of women for a long period of time, because I can just tell right off in conversation this is going to be a good fit for me.
Yeah.
And if it's not, like so I'm not looking to change nobody. I'm not looking to be changed. I'm not looking to control somebody. I don't want to be controlled. I want a woman that I can teach something and lead her somewhere. And at the same time can teach me somewhere and guide me somewhere. But all that changing, people don't change, man. They just mask things. Especially when they get up in our age, man. They not trained. They just masking to fit whatever situation that's suitable for them they can get to the next situation. So
Yeah.
like I said, it just don't take long with me, man, picking out the do's and don'ts with women.
Oh, so what about you, brother JC? Do you think it's a valuable quality to be able to change in a relationship for somebody?
To change?
Yeah.
Well, I would say this: if you have a conversation with a woman, it's important that you have a brick in your hand.
But hey, full disclosure, we ain't talking about literally hitting no woman with no brick. That's a euphemism, people.
I never said with brick. I just said have a brick in your hand so you could weigh yourself down. Listen, man. At the end of the day, I look at this way, right? Had a conversation with a lady. We were talking about the subject compromise, right?
Okay.
If I'm married to someone, compromise has to be part of the conversation if we're married.
Right.
If I'm dating you, for me, compromise is not in the conversation. Why do I say that? Because if I'm married to you and then we get to a particular impasse, you want this, you like this. Now, let's say we remodeling the house, right? You want this color, this, I want that color, that. Yeah, that's compromise. Okay?
Right.
But if I'm dating you, now I get to write in the script exactly what I'm looking for and what I want. Why would I want to compromise what I want and what I'm writing in the script if I'm dating you? I simply just say, well, you know what? You don't fit the parameters, so I'm going to move on. When you go to a job interview, right? The interviewer says, we are looking for someone this, that, and the third.
Right.
You ask them, are you going to, well, listen, I got this, that, but I don't have the third. Are you willing to compromise? Maybe they are, maybe they're not. They don't have to. Because we're not in this relationship yet. You're looking to get into this employee-employer relationship.
Right.
But once we're in this relationship, I think compromise has to be part of the conversation. I don't think compromise, this is my opinion, I don't think compromise has to be part of the conversation when you're trying to find out who's compatible, who's not. Because the world is your oyster. The world is your pearl. So if you want to do that, that's fine, but I don't think that has to be tantamount to entering into a relationship. If you're already in one, compromise is very important. If you're not, then you describe exactly what you want, what you don't want. If this person does not meet these parameters, I don't need to compromise.
So it seems like pre-relationship, you're in a phase of negotiation.
That's
and
it.
Then once you get to the relationship phase, now we get to the compromises to go make this deal official.
Once we're in the relationship and then said subject issues come up, then we have a conversation about compromise. Because now I'm invested, right? But before I get invested, we have this conversation. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? I don't necessarily have to compromise. Listen, I don't like sushi, right? I don't fuck with that. My girl likes sushi. My potential mate likes sushi.
Right.
She really loves it. So she wants me to try it. I said, listen, I don't deal with that. Oh, baby, I don't fuck with sushi. But let's say we're in a relationship. Nobody dealt with sushi.
Uh-huh.
Now we go experiment to a sushi bar, and she said, well, why don't you try this one? That's when the art of compromise comes in. I'm just using that as an example.
Right.
When we get a certain age, because you understand that the older you get, when we're talking about dating, marriage is one thing. Like my dear brother Andre said, marriage is one thing. That's a
Right.
whole different ball game. Dating is another thing. When we get into a
Hold on, bro. Dre, can you hear?
I think he froze.
I think he done froze up too. Maybe technology ain't compromising with him right now.
Can you hear me?
Okay, there you go. Now you're back.
Okay, cool. So when we get into a relationship, compromise is very, very important, very necessary. But dating, I get to pick this, that, third. Can you meet that? No? All right, boom. Because the older we get, we tend to have formulated our particular perspectives and paradigms.
Right.
So I know I don't fuck with sushi. I have no interest in sushi. I don't want to try it. Nothing is
but when you know that up front, you can set the proper expectation in the beginning when you communicate. And I think what I'm seeing a lot of while I'm trying to put this book together, a lot of people are not communicating their true expectations up front.
Okay.
Exactly.
Maybe when I said, and you're right. So maybe using the word compromise in that particular perspective was really not the case. Maybe I should have used a better example of compromise. So are we going to go here? I like jazz. You like country. We're in the relationship. You like jazz. I like country. Oh, you developed a love for country now? Okay, so, that's compromise. But in the beginning, you tell me you like country, I like jazz. Well, I don't like country. I actually like country, but you don't like country, I like jazz. That's compromise. But when you're already in it, sometimes some people develop a like and a love for particular things. So that's where compromise comes in. So I'm sorry about the wrong.
You good. Mine do it too all the time. Brother Troy, though, what about you? How you feel about that compromise situation, man? Are you at a point to where compromise is something you want to do or you willing to do in your communication?
No, to be honest with you, that's going to be a very limited area for me compromising, because I feel like every time, we have things that we hold to that are true to us. If I wasn't with nobody, I wouldn't be compromising it. So I feel like every time I end up finding myself compromised, I'm actually chipping away a little bit of me. So that's going to be a very limited thing with me compromising.
Well, brother Andre, I know as a married man for a long time, you can definitely give some insight on what compromise looks like in practice.
Absolutely, but just a caveat off of both of those brothers ahead of me. I haven't been out there in the dating game in many years.
Thank God, brother.
Stay out of it. Stay out of it.
You was out there the other day. Come on, man.
Yeah, but there's also a growth factor.
Wrong.
Yeah, he is. But there is a growth factor, I believe, that we're missing.
I'm just playing
this compromising point here. There's a growth factor, and the growth factor is, to me, is that there are certain things I didn't like to do, possibly in the beginning that we started to date. But within those few months that we dated, she introduced me to new things that I could try, and which eventually I probably even liked more than she did. So I would say I do understand as you get older. A lot of times, especially men, we get set in our ways and we don't want to change. But that would also let you know that, an old woman would die alone with a cat. I guess the man would have a dog. I don't know,
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. You're going to go through woman to woman to woman because you're kind of set in your ways and you're not open for new things. You're not open to grow. That's just the way I see it with compromising. Like I said, I haven't been out there in the dating game, But I also realized this, that like I say, on my job where I work at, if I was a single man, I'm around women that, practically have the same type of we're in the same occupation per se. So we kind of like lean towards the same things in a sense,
Right.
And I think a lot of us, when we are dating, the reason why we find ourselves in a relationship that is not going the way we would like it to is because our economic status is different.
Mhm.
Our financial status is different. There's a lot of things that are different that we might see that woman that okay, she looks good. She looks good and I want to get with her. But when we have that conversation, I'm talking on a 12th grade level and she's talking on a 3rd grade level. So,
Well, Dre, let's be honest. As men, we have women in 2 basic different categories. There are some women that we enjoy just for fun. Like, I'll have fun with her, but that ain't the woman I want to have my children. That ain't the woman I want to give my name to, but I have fun with it anytime, all the time. Then there's some women we look at like, you know what? She's the kind of woman I would put a ring on. I would marry. I would give my name. I would protect. She has something other than just the fun part. She has the fun part, but she's in a different category with us. So we know we will handle women accordingly. But in the communicating the expectation, like, this is one of the things I'm truly bothered by is how openly we accept lying. Like it's okay to not tell the truth just to get what you want. So this is actually another point, is how you tell the truth is just as important too as actually saying it. But why are so many people not willing to just be honest up front about what they really want?
What do you mean by that?
Because you take the gamble of not getting what you want.
Well, wait a minute. What exactly do you mean by you said a lot of things there. I want to unpack that.
Come on.
Accepting lying, communicating what unpack that a little bit. Who's doing the lying? Who's accepting? What do you mean by that?
I see this both on men and women. Again, I'm an equal opportunity truth teller. So as a man, I can remember as a young man, if I know I wanted to get in between this young lady's legs, I had to understand what she wanted.
Correct.
And a lot of times, most young women groomed by our society, they want to be in a relationship. They want to be committed. They want you to be the only one. Like, that's what they want. So if you understand that, I was very good at creating that feeling, but I knew I wasn't ready to be like committed. I knew that, but I wasn't going to tell her, hey, look here, I really just want to have some fun with you right now. And like, I want to kick it, but I ain't ready to have no commitment to this. But I wasn't going to say that as a young man, because I didn't know how to. Now, when I got older and got more mature, and I got after I came out of my divorce and took my time to get prepared and went into the dating scene. Oh, I was a whole different man in my 40s going out here dating than I was in my 20s.
So at your 20s, you didn't know how to say that to a woman in your 20s?
Bruh. Again, look here, I'm gonna give you all the information you need to know. You don't need to know that other part. That might slow down my plan for maximum effectiveness and what I want to get. That was my mindset.
Hang on.
Yeah, well, that's the point I made. The reason we don't tell the truth because we run the risk of not getting what we want.
Exactly.
But that's why we don't tell the truth.
In my opinion, you actually perhaps gave her what she wanted. What did she want? In my opinion, she wanted the fucking fairy tale. So you gave her the fairy tale. She wanted Disneyland. Okay, I give you Disneyland. But what you're not going to get is happy forever after, because you haven't parachuted from Disneyland down into logic. So I'm saying you gave her, or not using you, Mark, I'm just saying in general, right. Men, here's the thing. Men understand women. Women do not understand men. We had this conversation offline before.
Yeah.
Men understand women. Women do not understand men. The lion understands the wildebeest, the elephant, whatever his prey is, he understands it. We got to use tactics. We got to surround this motherfucker. We got to get ahead of the herd, whatever. The wildebeest is not plotting like that. So we as men understand women, but women don't stop for a minute to think about, what does a man want? I was having this conversation yesterday with a lady, and we were talking, and I said, or I asked this question, not conjuring up my Kevin Samuels, but the manosphere.
Shout out to the Godfather.
I said to her, set aside sex. And for anyone, and I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of people that look at this podcast at some point, because my dear brother is good at what he does. Set aside sex. Ma'am, let me ask you this. Aside from sex, what do you bring of value to the table for this man? He can pay his bills. He has his own resources. He's all of this. He's built this whole thing called the world so that you can inhabit it. James Brown said it. We understand that the end of what he said was, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or girl. So for the women who listening to what I'm saying and want to quote that, I just quoted that shit for you. Tell me what you bring to the table of value in his life. And we talked for 45 minutes. And when we continued to talk, she went back 45 minutes later. She said, JC, what you just said to me was so deep because I'm thinking about this shit and I haven't come up. And this is an intelligent woman, master's degree and whatever. And you'll get a chance to meet her on the podcast. She said, I haven't come up with anything like I haven't thought about that. I said, I know, because most women don't, because they already have their agency. Men are told you got to be tough, you got to be rugged, you got to work hard, you got to go out here and provide, you got to make that money and all of this shit, right? But women can get on the yachts, in the clubs for free, do all of these things for free. But you got to pay. But now when you get your weight up, now I'm in the candy store. You're not going to tell me I can only have a Snickers bar. No, I'm going to sample all of this shit in here that I couldn't, because when I didn't have my weight up, I couldn't talk to you, man. But now I'm talking to you. See? So let's listen. At the end of the day, I don't forget personal damn question.
But I've been telling them that all along. That's what's wrong with a lot of men today. I don't believe in that shit. The woman is the prize. What prize are you for me?
No,
you're not no prize for me. I'm the prize. See, men don't see the value in self.
Yeah.
Right.
See, a woman, a black woman, she assesses worth to her vagina. That's a worth. So, which is crazy to me, because if you can do that, man, if you can access a limitation or a boundary of what your vagina, why can't I access that to my penis? That has to be worse. And how you see it every day, a woman asks you to give her some money or go buy this. And these, what I call them tricks out here. If you don't do it, well, you ain't getting none.
Yeah. That's low grade prostitution.
Yeah. It ain't no brother on here that having experience. If you don't buy me this, I ain't getting you none. Okay. Well, guess what, man? You can keep that shit. Okay. Because this the value I have in myself. Okay.
Yeah.
I done got so deep with it, bro. I don't even, if I go out with a woman on a date and we don't connect intellectually on a conversation, first you have to be attractive for me to even take your ass somewhere. That's first, okay? Then I'm gonna get in your brain. If your brain don't stimulate me, bro, I don't want to fuck you or do nothing with you. I just want you to take your ass home. My brother will tell you that. I done had fine women come lay up in the bed with me. Okay, man, I don't feel the need to stick my dick in you, because guess what? I found value in me. But a lot of brothers don't see value in themselves. That's why they let these women talk to them any kind of way and do all the shit that they do, because they don't know their worth. But once you connect with your worth, you'll start thinking different and your behavior will become different as a man.
No, I can definitely feel where you're coming from there, because when you value yourself, then the decisions you make are influenced at that level of value. So you won't put yourself in certain environments, certain situations. You won't deal with certain people because you know that that's going to jeopardize or compromise your value.
Right. That's it, bro.
Brother Andre, chime in. I know you got something.
Yeah, I will on this one. You know, like you said, in your 20s, it's a self-confidence thing. And if you don't have the self-confidence, then yes, you're not going to be able to go out there and really experience women, I would say, the right way, because you lack that confidence. And when I'm saying the right way, you're not picking those ones that you really want to be with. You're stepping a little lower. But as you get older and you begin to grow, and you yourself become more valuable, you also realize that, wait a minute, I can't pick what I want to pick. But I also want to say this, you know, by you know, being in the military and going from state to state, I found a big difference in the dating women of different ethnicities, because I dated a lot of white women, Indian, Hispanic, and there was a difference.
What was the difference for you? How would you explain the difference? And I want to add a challenge to you, because anytime a brother talks openly about dating women outside of our demographic of any rate, sisters automatically antennas go up, they get defensive. So how could you describe the nuanced differences culturally and mentally between the different women that you've dated in a way that the sisters won't feel like you coming for them? Because ladies, we're not throwing rocks, we're not coming for y'all sisters, but my brother's just gonna tell this story. So please, ladies, don't get offended.
Go ahead, Dre. Go ahead.
All right, I was I tell you what, I'm 19 years old. I'm in Kentucky, and I meet a soldier, a black female. We around the same age, and she wanted something from me right off the bat. She expected something from me right off the bat. And when I say expected something from me, it was more than just going out on a date. It was money as well. Right off the bat. Hey, if we want to go somewhere, we want to go out, she expected me to pay. She expected me to do all sorts of things financially.
So her time was more valuable than yours.
In a sense, that's the way she saw it. Now, I flipped that, and I say, when I went to Germany, because I only stayed in Kentucky for like 13 months. I went to Germany. I'm out at one of those big fests, Oktoberfests, and we having a good time. And I literally had a couple white women come up to me and begin to speak to me. Now, they are German, but yet still, you know, they are what they are.
Right.
And, they didn't want anything from me. In fact, they bought me drinks. They did that for me. And that same evening, I'm going home with one of them. You know,
want that black snake bone, boy.
But what I'm saying is completely different. Dated some Hispanic women, and they right off the bat, I could tell that they wanted some type of meaningful relationship. I think, like I said, because of the different backgrounds as well with these women, not just because of the race, but the different backgrounds in which they were brought up in, they look for something different from each man. But once again, I come back to this. I was in the military. And by even letting them know that I was in the military, a lot of women that I dated only wanted to have fun. Initially, that was it. It was about having fun, you know? So, and it didn't last that long because you was only at a duty station a year to 3 years. So you had your fun and you moved on. I just got trapped in Germany when I met my wife. She caught me, you know? I did not ask her to marry me in the beginning. Like she came to me and said, "Look at here, this is what I want to do." She was openly honest with me, and I said, "Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, let's get married." That's how it worked. That's exactly how it worked. Let's get married, you know. And like I said, it was less than 6 months, and we did.
And again, I think a lot of women, when they hear that, they're not gonna fully appreciate how significant you saying it is the way it is, because most people romanticize how relationships happen. Like, oh, the man was really romantic, he proposed to her. Like, no, like y'all actually, like, look, we kicked it for 6 months, and she brought it up, and you're like, you know what, that makes sense. I could see doing this for the rest of my life with you. Let's do this in less than 6 months.
Yes, I even told my daughter the same thing. I said, you know, in certain instances, I said, if you want to take a relationship further, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to take the lead. Because the man is not going to take the lead too many times. He's going to just continue to have fun, enjoy himself. He's not thinking about settling down and taking that thing to the next level. He's thinking about having fun. And so unless you take the lead and show him, you know, specifically what, like they said, what you're bringing to the table, he's not going to do, he's not going to move any further. You know, and I bag back up and say this. During that time frame, me and my wife was dating. I remember I was getting ready to take leave to fly back home to Virginia. And she, just out of the blue, said, "Hey, let me buy you a ticket." Okay. She bought my ticket. Now I'm telling you, all this thing happened within 6 months. My stereo equipment at that time frame, this was in the 80s. We was really into stereo equipment. You in the military, you put thousands of dollars into your stereo equipment. Wow. So I look up, she buying me amps and preamps and certain vacant speakers, and I'm like, okay. And as I talk a little further, I'm like, okay.
Hey, JC back there raising his hand, looked like he in class.
What did you do? What did you do with your money? And she didn't have anything to do with it except for save it and put it away. And I was like, I was impressed with a lot of things. So by the time she said, "Listen, I don't want to just be boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't want to be this woman that have all these baby daddies and things like that." She said, you know, I more or less, the way she put it to me and the way I received it is that, listen, we vibing. Everything is going smooth. We open with each other. Let's take this to the next level. And I said, you know something? You're right. Let's do it.
Now, JC, I see you back there, bro. I know you got something to say, but I do want to point out, Dre, your story, because she identified herself by her qualities and her actions. She was the type of woman who says, look, not only do I want to be a wife, but I'm going to invest in you and show you through my actions and how I spend my money. Like, hey, look, I'm not just a girlfriend. I'm a whole wife. I'm going to show you. I'm going to buy you a ticket. I see what you like. I'm going to invest in that. So she literally, and this is how she thought, how she was raised from her culture in Germany.
Yes.
But she displayed wife qualities to you. And when she said, hey, look, let's make this thing official, that's why you like, hey, no problem. I like what I got. I can rock with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it wasn't all about, oh, I got swept off my feet, fell in love. She had that wop. Wasn't none of that craziness. It was the content and quality of her actions and character as a woman. And she actually was bold enough to say, you know what? We ain't just going to be kicking it.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, you know, I like that.
I really, you know, that fairy tale of you falling in love and then getting married. There were some females I knew in high school that I could say, wow, I would definitely see that one as being my wife and going a little bit further. And years later, once I came back and seen him again, I was like,
Yeah.
thank God I didn't do that.
Dodge that bullet.
So, you know, I believe love grows. I believe it grows because with men, I always tell my wife as well as my daughter, I said, men are visual. We first gonna see what we like visually interested in, and as time go on, you know, the feelings change and the love grows. It's men usually, I can't speak for all men, but they usually don't just fall in love. It's a visual thing that, you know, it might be a lust thing in the beginning, but it grows. You become protective now. You get into that mode like, hey, I don't want no one to hurt you. Then I'm protecting you. And when you become in that dominant protective mode, actually, that's for us. I believe that's that love mode.
Yeah. Hey, JC, I got a statement for you. Men guard our hearts the same way women guard their vaginas. What do you think about that statement?
So I would respond to that. Definitely want to respond to that, but let me clear something up that I heard in the podcast that I think listeners are going to hear and misconstrue because of, you know, something you assume, Mark. Andre is married to a black woman from New Jersey, not a German woman.
Oh, thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
Now, when they hear this back, they'll understand why I said that. But he's married to a beautiful black queen from New Jersey. Okay. So please restate the question, brother. I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay. Thank you, because honestly, I was under the wrong impression listening to it. So I'm glad you cleared that up, brother. Yeah. Good catch. But the statement that I heard was, we as men, we guard our heart emotionally being vulnerable, the same way women guard their vagina of sexually being vulnerable.
Right. So I would think that that's open to discussion. Women guard their vagina. I would think that that's certainly subjective, not objective. You know, subjective means, depending on your opinion, objective is fact. I would say that's subjective. I'm not sure that women do guard their vagina. I think that listen, ladies, if you're listening to this, shout out Brother Mark Scott, $ Mr. Scott 76. Send him an offering. Those of you who are listening to this, send my dear brother an offering, trying to get his channel up, because this information can really help you. I would say that statement is subjective and maybe not objective. Now, we don't know what the percentage is as it relates to that. But here's the thing. A man does not want to cuff a woman. Walk into a room where 3 individuals have fucked the woman that he's just cuffed. He doesn't want that embarrassment. So what we're really talking about, the gentlemen on the panel are, I'm not going to give our ages, but we are from a generation that was a little bit different. Okay.
Yeah.
We were from a generation that women acted a little bit different from, because we didn't have social media. Goddamn, we didn't have computers, bro.
Yeah.
We were the first generation that computers came in. You know, the Apple little shit came into the classroom, let alone Instagram, Facebook, and all this other shit. So we were not that generation. Women exercise a modicum of decorum in our generation. So when my dear brother talked about his wife said, you know, I think she looked around, she said, look, you know, we here, we there, we here, we there. Look, what we doing? What's going on? Let's just stop the whole maze and let's do what makes sense, right? I'm not saying she said, "Will you marry me?" That's not what she did, but she just put her finger on the brother and said, "Hey, what we doing?" Okay. A man wants a woman. Y'all ready for it?
Come on.
Y'all ready for it?
Come on, bring it, JC.
Ladies, are you ready for it? Don't talk shit to me. Talk shit to the host, because I'm finna give it to you.
I'll deal with the smoke.
We want humbleness, cooperation, and submissiveness. Oh my God, that nigga just say submissiveness.
You said the S word.
What medieval shit is he talking about right now? Did he
You better
say
explain yourself.
submissiveness, cooperation, and humbleness means this, that I want a lady who exercises her femininity to the highest level. I don't want a woman who walking in any aspect of masculinity. When I say, let's get the fuck out of here, it's a problem. And you pulling away from me, talking about, no, I'm finna get real disrespectful right now, Mark.
All right, bro. I just know I've got a rebuttal to that, but go ahead.
If she does that, leave that motherfucker on the side of the road and go on, because she gonna get you killed. You as a man must be in charge, because here's the thing. I've been on the dating scene a long time, and you know what I've done? I've taken pen in hand and pad, click and catalog the shit that I've asked. And what I'm telling you is this, in my learning, what I'm telling you is this: women like that are going to get you killed. If you are not the leader or the patriarch or the man in charge, if I meet you, ma'am, and you telling me you are a Christian, okay, and you fuck with this book called the Bible, okay, but you don't know nothing about it, but you just bragging. Well, here's the thing, man. The Christian, I'm the patriarch. I'm the leader. I lead you. You follow my lead. My responsibility is to protect, provide, and give you the resources that is needed for you to live and navigate throughout this world. Your job is to be a help me. I'm piggybacking on a conversation I had the other day. Your job is to be a help me. Well, what does it mean to be a help me? Well, every preacher writes in what they think that means. There's no scripture to support what the hell that means. All I got is help me. Help me meet. Help me meet something. But you helping me. You're not leading me. You're not in charge of me. Ladies, listen to me. It's very simple. If you're listening to this YouTube channel and this podcast, what you need to do is this. If you don't want to be 55, 56, 66 with a dog by yourself, what you need to do is shut the hell up. Find a man who is a leader, proven leader, that can lead you somewhere, that can help the relationship move forward, and be quiet. That's what you need to do. Be humble, submissive, and cooperative. And if you do those things, everybody outside of your relationship is going to be looking in like, oh my God, what she got? Who is she? They're going to be jealous of you, because that man, if he gets what he needs, men are simple. Men are very simple creatures. You could put us in a room, no pictures on the wall, paint the goddamn walls black, give me something to eat and a bed to lay in. We good. I'm going to go to work, make my money, do what I need to do. Women are delicate. So, ma'am, if you understand that, what he wants, you can get everything that you desire. But when you say to me, again, Mark, we're talking about the dating game.
Yeah.
Talking about that. And I've been on the dating scene for a long time. And when I come across profiles that says, I am, the next two words I'm going to say to you is what's going to make me swipe left. Strong, independent. Well, what the fuck does that mean? You're strong. You lift a lot of weights. I mean, what do you mean strong and independent? When you
it's a blanket statement that a lot of them use because it makes them feel empowered, and they don't really understand how it comes across. And I do want to back up and circle around.
Relationship with the English language, because what you need to understand, ma'am, is how does that black man interpret what you just said? Go ahead.
And I'm glad you said that, because how we communicate, because what you're saying, I absolutely understand and agree with. Just going back to the example of, hey, it's a situation about to go on. We need to get the fuck up out of here. Now, as pragmatic and practical as a man, as I understand, when there's danger, we ain't got time to debate. I just need you to move.
Let's go.
Now, I just want to try to, and this is for the younger brothers who may watch this and be in one of those scenarios and question, well, how would I handle that? And I ain't gonna say change what needs to be said, but how you say that, I want to try and sprinkle that with some wisdom instead of saying, hey, bitch, let's go.
I didn't say that.
Well, not exactly, but it was very short. Hey, we need to get up out of here. Yeah, another option, fellas. Another option, same scenario. If your woman is having a good time in a place and you see that something's about to pop off, instead of saying grab her, come on, let's go, whisper in her ear, I got something better for you. Let's slide out right now. And again, that is going to make her feel better and get her to do the exact same thing with much more cooperation than the, hey, let's just go.
Okay. Now let me ask you something.
Wait. What if you say that, right? And she's on some other shit, and she take her finger and point over to that nigga at the bar and said, you got that nigga for me?
Oh, it didn't. No. We dealing with a totally different kind of woman then. Nah, bro. I wouldn't be messing with that.
Get the fuck out of here right now.
Okay, so let me ask you something, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Let's say you swing that conversation and whisper in here and say, I have something better for us. Do you actually have something better? Because you know if you don't, that's gonna be a problem.
But and me, the
fucking with a black woman, that's gonna be a problem.
I understand you can't get their expectations up and not deliver. I'm just gonna make sure that how I define something better is gonna be away from where we at now, and then I'm gonna be able to explain, baby, it was some stuff that was about to go down, so I ain't want us to be caught up. Now let's go and slide on so we can continue to have our fun. Now we just dodged the bullet. Your man just kept you out of some drama. You ain't need to be in it. You ain't even see it coming. That's much better once I can give her that understanding. But if I gotta have a debate and an argument with her there, that's gonna make her dig in because of how I come at it, how she feels, and that's the whole point of what I'm trying to get into. Is I'm 100% for leading, guiding, telling the truth. But even as a leader, you can't be a tyrant. And if you understand that you can get more, what was the old saying? You catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Yeah, as you do with salt. If I can't tell my woman straight up, period, let's go. Anything after that, when I say let's go, any conversation after that is a problem. Because if she don't understand the dude that I am, who I am,
right?
Life, I understand she might be warning, but if she understand me, I know this nigga gonna explain this shit to me at some point.
Right.
He said, let's roll. I know what when he say that, let's go.
It's time to go. But again, I'll go back to our other conversation. If she don't go when you say it like that and she know you ain't did your part as a man.
No, watch this.
Well, now I can't say that, brother. I'm gonna disagree with that.
I got you.
Because you got some of these motherfuckers. You have to say you have to do what JC say.
If I say let's go and she got all this here, I cannot force you to do anything beyond your will. Okay, right. I'm gonna go on and move out. And when the shit when the smoke clears, right? And she's in a problematic. I'm just keeping it clean for the internet, but I really want to say some comical shit. But
oh man, speak your mind, JC. Man, we just brothers having a conversation.
So, no problem. So when she land on the floor with her jaw laying on at the other side of the bar because somebody came in here and did some crazy shit, because I peeped it because of my skill level or whatever, you know, and she ain't recognizing that or whatever. I'm just using hypothetical. It don't have to be that. The bottom line is when I say, hey, let's go, I'm going to explain this shit to you later. I don't need you to question. Once you start questioning me about why, well, I'm having a good time. Well, we gotta go. I tell you what, baby, yo, have a good time. I got you, baby. I'll see you at the house. But I'm never going to see you at the house because what I just saw, she fucked up. If you got a woman like that, young men, listen to me. Listen to me good. If you have a woman like that, when you say, if you are the leader, now Marker, refine this. We're not talking about some bullshit simp guy. If you are a proven leader and you say to your lady, let's go, and there's any boop boop pushback or whatever, there's a problem there. Okay. But I will say to this, and I'm sure Mark probably will, rebut. You got to earn that. That's something you got to earn. She got to know. She has to know that if my man says XYZ, I'm not out on a date and this nigga say, let's go. What? You got to earn that. Now, we're talking a difference between relationships. We're talking difference between dating and in a committed relationships. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, Brother Dre, go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with you to the point where you said you got to earn that. Like I said, I haven't been in the dating game in many years, but I do believe if a woman, not only do you choose that woman you're dating, that woman must have chose you as well.
You too.
And if she chose you, a lot of times women are looking for that strong alpha male anyway. They're looking for someone to lead them. So if they're looking for someone to lead them, unless you show them otherwise, when you stand up and say XYZ, they're gonna fall in love.
They should. I agree. They should.
Wait, let's be careful. Let's be careful. Let's be very careful. I hear what you're saying, brother, because there's a lot that has slipped between the cup and the lip. Listen to me. I respect the fact that you said I ain't been on a dating scene a long time. When I jumped out on the dating scene, I'm telling you this. I didn't know my ass from a hole in the ground. I just thought I did. You go out on a date with a woman. Just because she goes out on a date with you does not mean she knows your whole perspective, paradigm, or whatever. Right?
Right.
I'm talking about going out on a date or 2 dates or 3 dates or even 4 dates. And you say, the 4th date, you say, hey, let's go. It doesn't mean that what you chose or what you saw in this woman was what you reminisced about something that you had great and this, that, and the third. So you have to get a perspective on who you're dealing with. The scriptures say to thine own. Does the scripture say, know thyself and to thine own self be true? Where did I get that from? Yeah. Know thyself and to thine own self be true. But you have to understand that. If we're not talking about my wife, if we're talking about my wife, oh my God, and my wife, and I said to my wife, let's go, and she gave me that kind of shit, oh, that's a whole different conversation. What we're talking about is my prospective date or a girl that I'm interested in.
Keep that in context.
If my wife challenged me, I said, let's go. Why we gotta go? Bro, that's
do I hear Ike Turner in the house? Okay.
Bro,
but I even think in the dating scene, man, when you
Dre, It's a different. We're talking about my wife and a prospective lady.
Oh, no doubt, totally different. Go ahead, Brother Troy.
I mean, definitely there's a difference between dating and your wife or whatever. But I think even in the dating scene, you know, for you actually initiate going out on a date with a woman just in conversation, a woman got a pretty good idea, at least the idea of the type of man she's dealing with. Okay. See, I would never. I'm gonna say this. I would never have that problem. Me going on a date with a woman and tell her, "Hey, let's go," and hearing nothing back. She gonna get her ass up and we roll it. I promise. I would never be a man that would experience that.
Absolutely, and that's the point I was making.
Because my presence, women always tell me, your presence in just conversation is felt. Okay. So it depends on how you present your man and just present yourself as a man in conversation. But I guarantee I would never have a problem me going out physically with a woman and tell her, let's roll. And she going, well, I don't want to go none of that shit. She gonna roll.
Let me ask you this. Would you agree that other men may have that issue?
Yeah, but I think, like I say, like I say, man, I just feel like like me just talking to a woman before I even if I haven't physically met, let's say I met on a dating site. Okay. If I'm just talking to this woman, I'm gonna have a general perception of the type of woman I might deal with just in conversation. Okay. Right. So let's say that shit do happen to me on a date, okay? Let's say, sweetheart, let's roll out or whatever. She tell me, well, now I'm having a good time on the road, so you want to stay here? She tell me, yeah, we ain't got no problem. I'm gonna get my ass up and leave, and I already know you ain't nothing else I'm fucking with. It's simple that. We ain't got no problem.
Brother Andre, you had something on that.
Well, like I said, I believe just as you chose that woman for specifics, I think women choose men
exactly
as well.
And I agree with that.
One thing would be definitely she must see at least a type of strength within that guy for
I agree with that.
Go out with him, you know. If she see him as this weak dude, it's not going to happen. That's right. Once again, we go back to that guy with the self-confidence as he's talking to her. So that self-confidence is going to pour out in a way that she's going to gravitate to that as seeing you as that strong man. And okay. So
I don't want to belabor this point, and we can move on to the next topic. But I got to ask this question. Well, what would she see in him before she goes out with him that indicates he's a weak dude? Let me describe my hypothetical. Okay, he's 6'5", 260 pounds on the hoof. Nice looking guy. That's it. What would she perceive as weak in him that she would hesitate?
Well, you got to further understand, our women are not physical like me. Okay.
But even with that description, she could see the man as being soft. You know, she could still see that. And
he could be mentally weak.
Yeah. Exactly. If she saw that, she wouldn't go out with him.
Absolutely, that's my point. So,
but okay, so she wouldn't go out with him. So we understand if we pulled up a metrics, and Mark knows where I'm going. If a woman says, "What is her ideal guy?" Mark knows exactly where the fuck I'm going because we scour the internet for information, and I respect you guys. You don't. Not saying you don't, but we understand these metrics.
The 666.
If you ask a woman, what do you want in a guy? Her first thing that's going to come out of her mouth is his height. He's got to be 6 foot. Name the rest, but 6 foot. Okay.
Is you saying all women are a majority?
I'm saying the majority.
Ain't no such thing as all.
Nothing is all. Nothing is everything. I'm saying the majority of women.
We're just speaking in principle.
I don't deal with the statistical insignificant shit. So if 10% is different, that's really not important. 80% or 90% is this. So that's what I'm dealing with. Her first thing out of her mouth, he's got to be 6 feet, whatever. You may have met a woman that didn't mean nothing to. You, brother, met a woman that didn't mean nothing to. I have met women that didn't mean nothing to. But the 90%, he's got to be 6 foot this, he's got to make certain whatever, and blah, 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 blah. That's what I'm basing my points on when I, push back on the conversation.
Okay, let me ask you, is that statistics to prove that, or this just your opinion?
No. This is one of those general agreed upon concepts that seems to be a zeitgeist. It's accepted by most people that there was this what they called the 666 formula for women. They wanted a man who was at least 6 feet tall with 6-pack abs, making at least six figures. So, and if you asked 100 women, 99% of them, their description, he would fall within that 666 paradigm.
Keep in mind, I'm on the dating scene. So when I'm scrolling through profiles,
I've had women tell me I was too short.
I recently
how tall are you, Mark?
I'm 5'7".
I'm 5'7" too.
I recently came across a profile that I guess I'm in the goddamn minority. Well, I'm gonna give me some heels, goddammit.
Jason, you fine, man. You good?
I'm getting me some heels tomorrow. But anyway, I came across a profile and the woman said, if you say you 5 whatever, do not swipe right. Right? Swipe left. Now, this particular lady was probably 5'2" or 5'3". Now, why don't I get mad? Because I understand biology. Watch this, fellas.
Come on.
I understand biology. This woman wants a tall guy. Why? Because in her nature, she wants somebody who can protect her. In her mind, she thinks tall is protection. Strong, brave. That's her biology, right? I said, bitch, listen, let me tell you something.
Oh, Lord.
God damn it.
Hey, man, not on the live, man, not on the live, JC.
I'm sorry, man. If you got I probably edit. If you got a problem with anything, I got you. It's not even about that. It's about her biology. Right. Now I'm going to bring it back to men. Why do men cheat?
Oh, Lord. Here we go with this one. Come on.
Their biology. They're not designed to be monogamous. They want to fuck everything that's got 4 limbs. That's why I got over that height shit, because it's like, okay, sister, I understand. Let's have a conversation. Maybe we can navigate through that, whatever. But
let's negotiate.
It's rooted in their biology, bro.
Yeah.
Some things are rooted in a woman's biology and physiology, and it just cannot be compensated for. It's crazy. Like, all of these women, you 5 foot nothing, and you want a 6 foot, you want somebody, are you serious? That looks stupid.
Well, I know I was a little jaded. I ain't gonna lie again. It hurt my feelings, but I saw those same thing on the dating sites. If you ain't at least 6 foot, don't even bother. Yeah. But I honestly, I did the same thing on my dating site, and me and my girlfriend met on a dating site, and she passed over me twice because of my profile, because I respectfully and nicely just asked if you was bigger than me. Please don't. I'm not interested in a woman that's bigger than me. That's just my preference. And she actually thought I was an asshole just for being honest about my preference.
I had that happen to me too, Mark. To be honest with you, I said that same shit on the thing. I don't fuck with heavy set women because if I want to work out, I'll go to the gym. But yeah, I've had women tell me that too. But I mean, like at the end of the day, everybody has a preference, Yeah. I can't do the heavy set chicks, bro.
But and again, I think what JC was talking about biology and nature, because I hear how a lot of women don't like the nature conversation about how men are wired for not being monogamous. And it is there is a biological application that has it's legitimate to have that point of view. But going back to nature, the way women feel about hearing that truth, they don't like it. And that's why there's so much pushback, is because for them, when they hear it, it feels like it's unfair to them.
So so how do you get around a truthful conversation based on somebody's feelings? How do you navigate that?
You don't do that with women. You know what the best thing that you could do with women is to ease out into the marsh, ask questions, be tactful, and so you can get feedback as to, you know, what your questions are and how they respond. And that lets you know whether you can go further with your questions, because I know you know where you want to go, right? But if you're not tactful enough, it could be a problematic situation.
And he's right. But again, this is where the nuance of getting into an individual situation where we have to kind of push aside the rules and deal with the individual, because depending on her level of maturity, understanding, healing from any trauma she's been through, and her willingness to want to actually invest into a relationship, all those factors have to be accounted for. Because again,
okay, so let me
no
say
way
something.
you're gonna get around the feeling part of dealing with a woman.
I'll let you just say you have to take in consideration this,
Yeah,
bro. For me, I can't fuck with no woman like that. Going into that, that's too much for me.
understand. I understand.
I don't need nobody. I gotta feel like I gotta walk on eggshells to have a conversation with you. Okay, I feel like tactful. If I'm not being disrespectful, talking crazy, talking loud, obnoxious, and I'm just telling you something straight up. If you can't have, like, say, if you can't handle truth, you just can't fuck with me. I'm just being honest with you. Just take your problematic ass on.
As a man,
or sit on somebody's couch and get you some. Yeah, but you need you. That's by telling you a person that needs some help, okay? Because you got trauma. If motherfucker got to do all this here, you got issues. I recognize you got issues, okay? Obviously, you haven't recognized this shit, because like, that's too much, man. That's too much for a man or a woman to have to deal with. I want somebody I can openly have a conversation with about any motherfucking thing, anything.
True that.
And I'm receptive. I want a woman. My woman can talk to me, and she tell me, you know, I'm having feelings about going fuck another man. Well, let's sit down and talk about that. So it's problematic when you go fuck the nigga and we ain't had no conversation about it. That's the problem. But you sitting there telling me that we ain't. Yeah. Well, so I want that type of relationship, you know. I
get exactly where you're coming from, Troy, but I'll give you another variation of that concept that I'm dealing with. There's the golden rule. Treat people the way that you want to be treated, right? We've all heard this rule. Now, I had one of my mentors who studied psychology and did a lot of recruiting and network marketing. And he said, when you're dealing in recruiting, when you're trying to communicate with people, we've been taught the golden rule. He says there's something higher than the golden rule, and it's called the rainbow rule. And it was basically, there were 4 different personality types that are represented by different colors. And when you understand the different personality types, you communicate with that person in the best way that they receive, not just the way that you receive. Because again, you might be somebody like me. I'm affectionate. I'm touchy-feely. I'm hugging and grabbing. So if I come at you the same way I feel, but you are the kind of person, hey, I don't like people touching on me, you know, kind of respect my personal space, and I just come at you my way, even though I mean nothing but love, you're gonna get offended because that ain't comfortable for me. So when I understand,
but you know, a woman like that wouldn't work for you in the long run, right? You would recognize that, right?
But again, if you don't understand that, we'll be having friction in communication, and we don't understand why. So for me, it's the understanding, because again, understanding is different than agreement. You ain't got to agree with everything you understand.
Mark, this is the understand exactly. That's why I don't need to understand, because if I know I'm affectionate, romantic, and you don't share that like kind quality, and that's some passion to me, all I need to understand that we're not compatible. That's what I understand.
Maybe you need to understand. Well, wait. Maybe you need to understand why that is.
And no, I don't. Because
hey,
even if you tell me why that is, look at. Let me tell you something, Jay. Hold on. Even if you tell, if you tell me why that is.
Time out, bro. Before you say that, I got to.
But I was speaking, bro. I was speaking.
I'm not finna comment, bro. I'm finna say Dre got to go. He's got to work early in the morning. he didn't want to disrupt.
Thank you, Brother Dre, for joining us.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Definitely good conversation. Yeah, I got to punch it that clock in the morning, man. So
hey, you know what? You ain't the only one. So, Brother Dre, thank you for signaling. Troy, I'm gonna let you finish. JC, I want you to give some final thoughts, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Brother Dre, thank you, man. We're gonna get together and do this again for sure.
Definitely.
Good evening, Dre.
Close it out.
All right, man. Blessings to you and the family. Brother Troy, last words, man. Go and wrap this up.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying, JC. Even if you tell me why you're like that, okay, I'm sure you have an explanation why. Guess what it ain't gonna do though? It ain't gonna change you to become what I need. Okay, that's what it ain't gonna do.
Yeah. You make your own decisions after you hear the conversation.
And so that's what I'm saying. So a woman like say Mark say she's not passionate, she's not romantic, she's not hugging, feeling. Now she'll give me an explanation why she's
that's not
like
going to work for you at all. I mean, even
so that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't need to even understand why, because I know the understanding not gonna change who you are. That's just an extra waste of my time.
I didn't disagree with what you said, brother, at all. It makes perfect good sense. It just I'm not, and that's what the compromise. Watch this. If she says, "Well, let's I'm laughing. If she says, "Let's compromise," it's not gonna fucking work. I can't compromise. You know,
exactly.
If you was my wife already, we down like 4 flat tires 10 years, and this started. I'm trying to figure, and you told me that. I'm
right.
Like, oh my God, what now I'm trying to figure out what the fuck.
Right.
Go into a potential relationship and you telling me that, all right, well then, go marry Mr. Rogers. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
Right.
Wait, can I say one thing before?
Go ahead, Brother Dre.
I do exit. I just, on a personal note, if you don't mind me asking this question to both of the brothers, have either one of y'all within the last 3 years been in a relationship that lasted over a year?
In the last 3 years?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
That lasted over a year?
Yeah.
Me?
What happened to that relationship?
No.
I'm just curious now.
No.
Well, to be honest with you, me and the chick date
3 hours.
I only asked that question.
His relationships are paid for by the hour.
I listened to both of you.
Well, look, I dated this chick for 2 years. For 2 years, Drake. But to be honest with you,
was it on
probably
and off straight 2 years?
No, straight 2 years. But I already knew, to be honest with you, probably after 2 months of this shit, it wasn't gonna work. But the reason I continued on with her because she was fun. We had a lot of fun together, and that's the only thing. But I knew in the get-go that shit.
But when you realized it wasn't gonna last, did you tell her like, "Hey, look, we're gonna have this fun, but you know this ain't gonna last"?
Well, to be honest, me and her both came to that conclusion. This shit ain't gonna work. But we always would have fun together.
2.5 years later.
Yeah, and then we just say, you know what, man? Nah, baby, fuck this shit, And that's how that went.
But see, now I could understand why that would feel like a waste of time. But it is what it is. It played out. Right. Brothers, man, thank y'all because again, I want to be able to get together.
To my Tamara.
Oh.
All right, yeah. Praise the Lord, hallelujah. Whatever her name was. Hey, y'all ain't gonna get people hunting me down on my channel because y'all throwing names out here.
Dre, what made you ask that question?
Well, I'm listening to both of your conversations about women, and I found I would take it as being typical for a woman to even meet your standards in a way, you know.
I've
both of them
heard that so
single.
many times. Yeah, I've heard that so many times, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. But guess what? I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna lower them.
I
I'm
know
good
you're
being by myself if it comes down to that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they-
You got,
and they-
hey, listen, you got a pit bull with you, don't you, a dog?
Yeah, this is my little look. What's it? Sasha. That's my new baby right there.
All right, that's what I figured. You know, women usually have cats, but y'all guys, hey, enjoy talking to you, man.
Thank you, brother Dre. Thank you, brother JC. Thank you, brother Troy. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. This has been a first installment of hopefully many live broadcasts here. We hope y'all got something out of this conversation. May we get more wisdom in how we communicate with each other, because it ain't just what we say, but how we say it to each other that really, really matters at the end of the day. So,
Right.
gentlemen, thank y'all again. God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. Brother Mark Scott, I'm out.
Good evening, brother.